I have 5 bridges that I coach people through. The first one's spiritual. The second one I call internal, but really it's your physical being, your nutrition, your mental health as well, your brain health. And so on that physical side of things, I'm really empowering people to take care of their body and their brain so that they can be their best selves in their profession, to their families, to the loved ones, those that they lead, all of that stuff. So that's kind of my model. And I'm curious how you incorporate or how you set apart Kula Performance from all the other training methods out there. What's your guys' philosophy?
Sure. Well, I think I think there's a holistic approach at some level. We just launched a mental performance arm of our company that my sister's running because it's super important, right? The physiology and the physical development of an athlete is, that's what we are and that's who we are. We do that through a speed priority type system. We think, speed is kind of the metric that moves athletic development. So we're really heavy into speed development. But then, relationally, we talk a lot about, how do you interact with the kids? Are they loved? Are they known? Because that's that spiritual component that you're talking about. We're in a secular, environment here, but I'm a follower of Christ. And I feel like, being able to speak to that sometimes to athletes is a great way to connect. And so they're being developed spiritually, physically, mentally, emotionally, and all those things. When those things align, you have great success. And I mean, obviously when I was at Valor Christian, we had that, those were non-negotiable, areas of development for the athlete. And it was, after 13 years there, you definitely saw the success wasn't just because it was all athletics and all physical development. And so, in this environment, it's a little harder to do that because we see kids, 2 hours a week. But I always encourage my coaches and myself when I coach an athlete, it's a relationship, right? And we're going to try to dive into all those things. And a kid might have, the highest power levels you've ever seen, but if they can't, feel good about it, or they get anxiety, or, all the other things, then it's all for naught. So I think, we have to take a look at the full spectrum of what athletic development really is.
Yeah, you're training them for life, not just to be a better athlete. That's 100%. Awesome. There's something you said there that I know you're going to dispel for some of the audience, because we've heard announcers, especially on the football field, say this for decades. You can't teach speed. Tell them why they're wrong.
Somebody says that.
Tell them why they're wrong, Kula.
Hold my beer. Yeah, I mean, I think, speed is a skill, right? It's a skill like anything else, and it can be taught. And so, there's the lowest hanging fruit of making an athlete strong in the weight room and running them. They're going to have some level of adaptation to running in general, but we try to take it to the next level and teach it from the ground up. And we truly do see, of course, everybody's ceiling is a little bit different, and I think sometimes when coaches refer to that, right, like not everybody's going to turn into Christian McCaffrey, not everyone's going to turn into Anna Hall, but we can definitely raise their ceiling, through the training methodology. And I 100% completely disagree with anyone that, or take on the challenge of somebody that says, speed, you're either born with it or not. I really look at it as a nurture, not a nature, type of an environment for us.
Yeah. Yeah. I just, you brought that up quick as you were talking about speed being a foundation, and I know I heard it, and I probably believed it at some point because we've heard it so much.
Sure.
But now knowing the training world so much, and especially how we've evolved, because you're right. Like I went to high school in the late 90s, and the training just was not evolved enough to teach us that speed. Now it has. Yeah. So that myth has been completely dispelled.
Yeah. The problem, I think, really boils back to speed. Speed is a slow growing, product. And so it takes a long time to develop. I mean, it can take years to develop, speed. Whereas oftentimes coaches will default to like strength, because strength can be a pretty quick upsell, and you can make somebody stronger. They see more, instant results, which obviously we're a society of, I gotta know right now, I want to improve in 2 days or 3 days, whatever it is. So speed is just, repetitive, monotonous work over a long period of time. And sometimes we get too anxious. And so, oh, well, I can't get faster. Well, you gave it 3 months, you need to give it 3 years. and be consistent over time with those, trainings, and then you'll see the fruits of your labor. So I think that's why sometimes it's frustrating to people, because it's not an overnight success.
Much like anything that's worthwhile, right?
Exactly.
That's entrepreneurship for you. That's raising kids. That's anything that's worthwhile does not happen overnight. So
That's right.
remember that with speed as well.